How much does it cost to pour concrete at your house? Hey everybody, Charles from BRK Concrete and Hardscapes, right here in beautiful and hot Central Florida. And this is the video everybody has been wanting to see. This is the one on pricing. How much does it cost to pour concrete at your house? So I'm going to do this from a contractor's perspective because that's me. I'm the guy that owns the concrete company, and I'm coming to your house to pour your driveway or your patio or your slab. And everybody always wants to know, how much does it cost? So I'm going to answer that question in a long-winded video. Because pricing is a big deal, and there's a lot that goes into it. A lot of stuff maybe you as a homeowner or a business owner, the guy that's writing me a check, a lot of stuff maybe you don't understand. So I want to explain it to you. I even made notes. Notes are good, right? So the first thing is, and this is the question I get all the time. I get these phone calls or I get emails or text messages from potential customers, and they say, I want to know your square footage price. And it's a fair question because you hear that a lot in the construction industry. How much is it per square foot? Guys give you a tile price per square foot. Guys might give you a building your house per square foot, painting per square foot. Here's the problem with giving you a square footage price on something like concrete. There is so many factors that go into doing concrete work at your home or at your business. So if you're a general contractor, right, usually you can get a square footage pricing out of me. Or most other concrete guys will probably give a square footage. And that's because general contractors, they completely understand everything that is going to be included in that square footage. It's obviously discussed beforehand. Do we got to grade it? Do we have to bring dirt in? Do we have to do this? Do we have to do that? What kind of cleanup do we have to do afterwards? All these different things that go into general contractor square footage pricing. And those guys are usually giving us work over and over and over and over again. You know, if I do sidewalks for a GC, here's my square footage price. We've agreed on what that square footage price includes, and you're going to call me for this project and that project and that project and that project, and over and over and over again. It could be a sustainable source of income for a long time. So yeah, we give them a square footage price. When you go to work at somebody's house, they don't have other subs to do things like grading, landscaping afterwards. The cleanup is a lot different in your house, in your yard, than it is on a job site, right? So we have to take all these things into to factor when we are giving you a price. So I can't say, hey, we are $6 a square foot, for instance, on your driveway, because that might be wrong. It might be $4 a square foot. It might be $10 a square foot. It might be $20 a square foot. It really depends on what I have to do on this job, right? So think about this. You want your driveway replaced. Hey guys, it's Charles of BRK Concrete and Hardscapes. I really want to thank you for checking out my video. And because you're here, I got some really cool stuff I think you're really going to like. And the first one is free money. Who doesn't like free money? This is an app called Upside, and I use this app every single day. Every time I get gas, they give me free money. Every time I go somewhere, stop to eat while I'm out working, or take the kids out to eat, they give me free money. And it costs you absolutely nothing. All you got to do is download the app on your phone. You get gas at these places, Circle K, Racetrack, Exxon. Boom, guess what? Free money. How about these places right here that you're eating? Do you ever eat at Taco Bell? Do you ever eat at KFC? How about Pizza Hut? They're giving you 33, 35% back on your bill. They're just going to give it to you. They're going to drop it into a little savings account thing that you can access anytime. It doesn't cost you anything. You can send it to your bank account. You can get it in a gift card. However you want your free money. Cool part for me is if you sign up with my link, which is in the description, they're going to give me a little bit of money for sending you over there to sign up. Costs absolutely nothing. Download the app and get free money. Why would you not want free money? And finally, I want to tell you, if you're getting ready to work with a contractor, be it a concrete guy or a painter or a remodeler or a general contractor, I have got this ultimate guide for you to check out. It is going to help you navigate this situation if you've never done it before, or if you have done it before and had problems. This is going to guide you all the way through, from the very beginning to the very end, from picking the guy that you want to use, from the contract and what should be in the contract, how to communicate with him, how to make sure everything is on the up and up. It's all the stuff you need from beginning to end to work with a new contractor, to pick a new contractor, work with a new contractor, and pay the new contractor so you don't have any hiccups along the way. This stuff's probably really going to help you out. Doesn't matter if you're new to hiring contractors or if you've done it 1,000 times. This guide will help you get through that process and make it a win-win for you and for your contractor. So once again, thank you for watching my video. Let's get back to the video. And if you are enjoying it and it's helping you out, make sure you give me a like. Make sure you give me a subscribe. And yeah, let's get back to the video. It's enough of this stuff. So the first thing I've got to do is I've got to get all the permitting done. Most of the time. Sometimes homeowners want to do their own permits, but 99% of the time, I got to do the permitting, which means getting a drawing, getting your survey from you and getting the drawing on there. I have to get the notice of commencement, which I have to bring to you, get signed and notarized, and then I have to take that to the courthouse and file it. I may have to go sit in the permitting office for 10 minutes or an hour or 2 or 3 hours. I may have to sit at my computer for a couple of hours and go back and forth with the permitting office if everything's done online. About, oh, you didn't submit this form, or this city requires this form, or this county requires this form, because everywhere is a little bit different. They all want something a little bit different. So I've got to do all that stuff, and that's before we've even started work. This is hours and hours and hours of time that I've got to spend doing this. General contractor, almost none of that ever applies because they handle all the permitting for everything. So then you get into the actual work of the thing. I got to pay somebody to come and rip this thing out if I'm not doing it myself. I've got to pay for a dumpster or dump truck to haul it out of there. Okay. Then I've got to get this thing either scraped out and put base in, or if you're, going the cheaper route, we're just going to pour it right there on your existing ground. I got to get that wet and I got to get it compacted because I'm not going to pour it on the soft dirt that your old driveway came off. You're replacing it probably because it's cracked up and looks like garbage. So we don't want the same problems again. So we got to wet it. We got to compact it. We got to do all this prep work to get it ready. Then we got to form it up. Then we got to get it poured. Oh, and we also have to get termite spray out there. So I got to schedule the guys to do all the rip out, schedule the guys to do all the prep work, schedule the termite spray, schedule the pouring. Then I got to come back after it's poured, make sure the job site's all clean up. Did we tear up your grass? Now I got to put in new grass. Did we put holes in your yard? Now I got to fill those holes. I got to make sure when I leave that job, everything looks absolutely perfect for you. Right? And then I got to warranty my work. So if something goes wrong, whether it's my fault or not, it cracks in a week. That's not my fault. But I still got to come back. Still got to drive back over there and explain to you what happened, look at it. Maybe it's something we can fix, and we always try to if we can. But that's more time and more stuff I have to put into this job. So to give a square footage price over the phone is impossible. I don't know what your yard looks like. Maybe you have pristine sod. And when I leave, you want that sod right back up against your new driveway, right? Then I've got to go get sod and put the sod in. Maybe you don't. Maybe your yard's horrible and you don't care what it looks like. All I got to do is backfill it when I'm done, right? Maybe I've got to bring in equipment to grade everything. Maybe you have a tractor at your house and you're going to grade everything. There's so many different factors that go in. So when you call me and you say, hey, What's your square footage price? I can't give it to you. There is no square footage price on residential jobs for homeowners because everybody wants something different. Okay? Some people want, and we offer two different things here at BRK too. Actually, we offer a bunch of different, but our primary two is I've got a standard slabber driveway and I've got a premium slabber driveway. So your standard is just 4 inches of concrete. We're going to compact what's there. We're going to put fiber in the concrete. We're going to give you a good quality concrete job. But that's our standard package. Then we go up to our premium package, which is going to give you 4,000 PSI concrete with not only fiber in it, but wire mesh in the slab. We're going to give you a thickened edge all the way around with rebar in it. We're going to do a lot of other things. We're going to seal it afterwards with a cure and seal. So you can go from standard to premium and big price difference. You can say, okay, well, I want wire mesh in it, but I don't want the rebar on the edge. Or I don't want the wire mesh, I don't care about that, but I do want it sealed after. So there's a lot of different things in there. Again, square footage price, pretty much impossible on a homeowner job. And you're only going to call me one time, maybe 2 or 3 times. You can only put so much concrete at your house, right? The driveway I'm going to give you, you're not going to replace it for 25 years. So you won't be calling me to replace your driveway again. Maybe later on you want a patio. I'm going to give you a discount because you called me again. But that's 2, maybe 3 jobs that you're going to call me for. So I can't give you that square footage price. I can't give you a set square footage price. And nobody really can. If they do give you a set square footage price, then look out for the inevitable, well, this costs more. Oh, we quoted you at $6 a square foot. Oh, well, now you want to do this? Well, that's another $1. Oh, well, now you want to do this? That's another $1. See, I don't play that game. I'm going to give you a price, and that's going to be my price for the whole job. No add-ons and extra, oh, well, you needed dirt. Oh, well, you wanted this, and then we're not playing that game. So that's how it goes with the square footage thing. Here's the other thing we got to factor in is the cost of living, right? That's affecting you just like it's affecting me, just like it's affecting all the guys that work for me, okay? So eggs, we all eat eggs. You like eggs, I like eggs, my guys like eggs. It's costing us all more money. Therefore, the price of labor has gone up. And it's going to continue to go up. It's not going to go down. As minimum wage goes up and the cost of living goes up and inflation goes up and all these things that are going to continue to happen, the price of labor goes up. So that increases as well. Right now, I can tell you what guys are making in Florida. This might be a no-no, but I don't care. I'm going to let everybody know. In Florida, laborers are costing anywhere from $150 to $250 per day. Okay? Hourly, it's I don't have hourly on here. I just have what it averages out to per day, and that's $150 to $250 per day for a laborer. Now you get finishers in, guys that really know what they're doing. Then they can form everything up and they can finish everything and make it all pretty and they're experienced and they got their own tools and all that other stuff. The cheapest you're going to find somebody, at least in my area, is $250. And that's the cheapest. That's usually a guy that doesn't even have a truck or his own tools and he wants $250, which is fine. He's got that skill set. So they go from $250 to $450 a day. That's how much a finisher costs for the day. If you got specialty guys, if you're doing stamp work or color or curb work or anything decorative, those guys are $500 plus per day. These are real numbers. So now you figure that, right? So if you've got 2 laborers on a job, let's say they're cheap laborers, are $150, that's $300. And then you got 2 finishers. And we'll say they're $300, so that's 6 plus 3. Now we're at 9. Okay, that's for a standard driveway. You're at $900 per day in just what those guys are making. Now you got to insure those guys. Got to have general liability. Got to have comp. If you got them on payroll, you got to pay the payroll tax. So now we're looking at $1,500 a day in payroll to have these guys on the job. So, you know, I remember when concrete finishers were making $15 an hour. And eggs were 50 cents a dozen. So that's where it's at with the labor. The labor costs money. It's getting more expensive as time goes on, and it's just one of those things. Materials. Materials are getting more expensive too. Concrete used to be about 75 bucks a yard. Hell, concrete used to be 40 bucks a yard. But not too long ago, it was like 75, 80 bucks a yard. Now, we're talking 200 bucks a yard on average. 250 a yard, some places, depending on what you get. Depending on what you get in it. And that's just the base price for concrete. Once you add in your fiber mesh, any other additives you put in there, if you put plasticizer in it all increases the price. And that's just the concrete. We're not talking about rebar. We're not talking about the lumber that goes on the job. We're not talking about fill dirt if you got to put fill dirt in it. Fuel for the machines. Like, everything has gone up. So the materials and the equipment, it's more expensive now. So that factors into the price. So after I've paid for all the labor, all the materials, and got everything done there on your job, now I've got to get paid, right? I can't do this for free. I've been doing this job a long time, been in concrete for a very, very long time, and I expect to make a pretty decent amount of money as a business owner. Maybe you own your own business, maybe you don't, but you can probably figure that as a business owner, you want to make a good living, a very good living, right? So out of my profit comes all the time that I've spent running around, right? So if I'm permitting your job, like I said in the beginning, I've got to go sit in the permitting office sometimes, or I got to spend all this time on the computer, I got to chase all this paperwork. That's a lot of time that I got to spend getting your job permitted. That comes out of my profit. A lot of times, I'm on the job working with these guys. A lot of times, I'm out there pouring concrete. If they need help, I'm on the job. Somebody calls in sick, I'm on the job. Sometimes they can't find anybody. You know, I got guys that work for me full time, but things have slowed down with everything that's going on in the world. So, you know, sometimes I don't have 40 hours for them, so they're out catching days with somebody else. So, you know, I say, hey, Bill, I know it's Tuesday, but somebody just called me. We can pour on Thursday. And Bill says, I'm already booked. Guess who's pouring it? Charles is pouring it. And that's fine. I don't mind doing it. Sometimes I prefer to do it because I think my work's better than everybody else's. But either way, I might be on that job. That doesn't go into my labor costs. That comes out of my profit. And then warranty, right? I've got to warranty whatever work I do, whether it's my fault or not. The sun causes it to crack, or the heat causes it to crack, or it rains and there's a spot, you know, you'd have concrete there. We didn't have concrete before on a patio, and the water used to just wash into the ground, but now it's dispersed and it is digging a hole or whatever. There's all sorts of different things that happen with concrete that I got to come back out and talk to you. Maybe there's something I can do about it. It's covered in my warranty. Maybe there's not. But I still got to come out there and talk to you about it. I'm not just going to tell you to F off on the phone. I'm going to come out. I'm going to look at the problem. And I'm going to try to help you fix it, or fix it myself if it's under a warranty, or at least, you know, let you know what the problem is and this is what needs to be done, or this is what I can do, or it's not a problem, something. I'm going to come out there and I'm going to hang out for a little bit and talk to you about whatever the issue is and see if I can help you solve it, because that's just the kind of guy I am, and that's how we do business. That's called doing your warranty work. Problem is that time comes out of my profit. So add all these things together and you're going to get your pricing, okay? I am putting a sheet up on my website today that's going to go over and explaining pricing, and I'm even going to give some basic standard pricing or average pricing for jobs that we do all the time. Like standard size patio, like a 10 by 20 patio, right? That's a pretty standard size that we do a lot. So I'm going to give like the average pricing for that. Again, many different things come into factor, and I'll explain that on the sheet on the website when I get it up there. But I just wanted to kind of explain to everybody what goes into the pricing factor. It's so many things. What has to be done to do your job? and make it right and make it look good. Make sure that you're happy. What kind of cleanup, what kind of landscaping afterwards, all these different things that we have to do physically on the job. All the running around I've got to do to make your job happen. All the scheduling I've got to do. Making sure that I got good quality guys out there that cost a lot of money to have out there. And then finally, I'm sorry, materials, which is obviously a big one, because they keep going up. And finally, the profit that I have to make on the job to make a good living, because I've been doing this a long time. I got a lot of stuff, a lot of overhead I have to pay for to give you guys a good quality concrete company that can come out and give you good quality work. That costs me a lot of money. That comes out of my profit. So I still got to put something in my pocket at the end of the day to feed my family and live a decent lifestyle as a business owner. So hopefully you guys understand all that. You get it. Your driveway replacement's not going to cost $2,000. It's not $19.98 anymore. Your slab for your shed, even a small shed slab, isn't going to cost $500 or $600. And here's the other thing. You will find guys out there that will do this work cheap. They are out there. And I'm not saying that they're bad concrete guys. Some of them are great concrete guys. Here's the problem when you got guys that are doing the work really cheap. If they're doing it really cheap, it means they need the work really, really bad. Okay? So if they need the work really, really bad, they're going to price it really, really cheap so that they can get the job and get in there and get it done. And if they need the money like that, they're probably going to cut corners in other places. Right, we use a minimum 3,000 PSI concrete mix and we pour with fiber in it, unless you guys specifically request you don't want fiber for a pool deck or something. But generally speaking, driveway patio, we're using fiber, 3,000 PSI. A lot of guys take the fiber out and go with 2,500 floor mix. They might not put rebar in. They might not put plastic when you need plastic. There's so many different things they can do to try to cut corners and save a little money. And these are good concrete guys. They're just, they need the money and they're bidding it cheap and they're going to save every little dime they can. So this is my suggestion. If you have somebody, you meet somebody that is giving you this phenomenal price on concrete, right? You're like, man, everybody else bid this job for $5,000 and this guy's telling me $3,000. Okay? But you really want to use him. You really like him. You've seen his other work. You've met his other customers that are happy with his work. Sit down and talk to him and find out why he is so cheap and, maybe offer him more money. So, well, you were talking about $3,000. Everybody else bid it for $5,000 or $6,000. How about we give you $4,000? But I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. Go over everything, Make sure that you're getting what you're paying for. You want your 4 inches and you want fiber in the concrete. You want 3,000 PSI. All these different things in there. Maybe offer them a little bit more money or whatever you got to do to use the guy that you want to use. But also be wary of those idiots out there that have no idea what they're doing and they bid it too low because they just don't know. They go, I'm going to bid this for $3,000 and I'm going to make $3,000. No, you're not. If everybody else is bidding it for $5,000, it's probably costing them $2,500 to $3,000 to do the job. So be wary of stuff like that, and just be smart when it comes to the pricing on concrete. Concrete's not cheap. Maybe you can't afford it. Hopefully you can, and if you can, then spend a little bit extra and get somebody that's really good and make sure you're not getting screwed over in your concrete because it's there for a long time. And man, is that stuff expensive to rip out and replace. I'm Charles from BRK Concrete. If you're here in the Central Florida area, give us a call. I'll be happy to give you a bid on your concrete project, help you out, and get you a good quality concrete job for a fair price. Be sure you check out the pricing on our website, www.brkconcrete.com. I got to go. I got concrete to pour. Y'all have a good one. See ya next time.